Morning folks, spending the next couple of days down here in Albany. This episode is brought to you by Leprechaun Transport, who can transport your general goods anywhere around the metro area, the state and Western Australia. See you soon. G'day folks, how you going? Welcome to this caravan park review. Now the aim of these reviews is basically to give you an idea, a look around the various different parks, what they look like, what facilities they have. So if you were thinking of staying in a place like that, then at least you'll know whether it's going to sort of suit what you're looking for. Now we do all sorts of parks. We do everything from the top of the line ones. We'll go right down to the basic local government sort of parks as well. I pay my own way through these things, so I can pretty much say whatever I like about them, good, bad or indifferent, but they're always going to be sort of like constructive comments. So if that's something you want to see more of, then go down the bottom down there, hit that subscribe button down there and hit the bell next to it, because that's meant to send you an email, let you know when I've uploaded another video. And while you're down there, hit that thumbs up as well, because if you do that, that makes YouTube think that there's something going on here and makes it available or shows it to more potential viewers. So anyway, that's enough of the housekeeping. Let's run the intro and then we'll get a look around the park. So in today's video, we're going to have a look at the Rose Garden Caravan Park out at Emu Point. Emu Point is about a 15-minute drive from the centre of Albany, and it's on the other side of the King George Sound from the whaling station. Now I've already done a video to the Big 4 Caravan Park that is also located out in the same sort of area. I'll put a link up here to that video if you want to have a look at that. Now for me, the two parks are very different. The Big 4 has it's a modern park, lots of facilities to keep the kids happy and that sort of thing. This park is not. This park, it's an old park, and I'm guessing it was probably built in maybe the 60s. And probably hasn't changed a lot since then. Now I'm not saying you've got to take a shovel and go dig a hole to go to the dunny or anything like that. It does have the modern facilities and things. But what I am saying is if you've got kids, you want to keep them entertained and all that sort of thing, then possibly the Big 4 might be what you're looking for. If you want to just sit back, relax, enjoy the serenity, the peace and quiet and all this thing, this is probably the park that would be of interest to you. Now this park, as I said, it's in Emu Point. It's easy to find. It's on the main road that comes into town and into the Emu Point area. As you come in, it's right there on the right hand side. Very easy to find, and there's no prizes for guessing where it got its name from. Inside the reception area is a small shop where you can get a few of those little things that you might have run out of, or get an ice cream or a cold drink. The park itself isn't exactly flat, and it's not exactly hilly, but your caravan sits in a pretty much flat spot. There are many full-time caravan sites and many full-time residents, and some of them are hard to tell that are even caravans. A lot of time has been spent to make their little sites look, well, pretty amazing. Generally, the sites aren't really small, but you can see that a couple of the streets are a little bit tight if you had to try and put a van onto a site. However, looking at this street, it's got mostly tents and camper vans, so it will be easy to see that they might perhaps work to a plan of what goes where, so that getting a van into the park for the most part, might not be such a big problem. They can cater for those that need a drive-through site or a concrete pad, if that suits you better. As you can see, most sites have some sort of tree coverage, so there's a fair bit of shade around the place. The grass is plentiful throughout the park, and in most places, pretty green and fairly healthy. There are a number of toilet blocks throughout the park. Some are quite old. We were lucky as our block was a new demountable, maybe 3 to 5 years old. I found another newer one also, but seemed to remember hearing or reading something about them pulling down the old blocks to replace them with new ones over time. And they're also equipped with some fairly reasonable laundry facilities. And not to mention the usual library arrangement in the corner. Now, while walking around the place, I only found one camp kitchen, and this is it. It had 3 gas barbecues, a couple of cooktops and a couple of sinks. They even supplied a few fry pans if you needed it. A couple of fridges, microwaves and the usual kettles and toasters. You can sit and watch the TV, but this being Albany, and it does get pretty cold down here even in summer sometimes, it doesn't appear that the room can be shut off from the cold. But it would still be one step up from sitting in a flapping tent if it's raining. There's a games room in the middle of the park with some basic gear like a table tennis set. There's a TV and a lounge you can sit on as well. It's basically a warm dry place you could sit and maybe play board games or cards or something like that. And for the few kids that are around, well, there is a simple play set. And yes, for those that need to take their crap for a walk, there is a dumping point. It's near the campus kitchen. Just make sure you use the short bin, not the tall one. It could be a little noisy at night when those that are too embarrassed about emptying their crapper during the day will come sneaking along under the cover of darkness. And like most parks these days, they have some on-site accommodation options. These really nice ones overlook the ocean. If you're a fisherman, then the ocean is just outside the fence. Same goes for those swimmers out there. It looks like a nice path running along the ocean where you could go for a walk, run or even a skate. And the path goes all the way around the point to a few restaurants here. Now our site I think might have been on the edge of the camping area, and herein lies about the only problem I really had with the place. In our case, we had to run our water and drainage hoses through another site to get to the tap and drain. So you need a lot of hose and pipe to connect, and if you haven't got it, you're buggered. And I don't think I would be all that happy about having everybody walking through my site to make their connections or have their drain next to me. And if their hoses leaked, well, I'm the one that gets flooded out. Okay, so what do I think about the place? Well, okay, it's pretty obvious it's showing its age. Well, for that fact, so am I. But if you're an older person that don't need things like climbing walls and bouncy pillows and toys and stuff like that, if you just want to sit back, relax, and just peace and quiet, I reckon this is probably the place for you. Just have a listen to the natural sound of when I was walking around doing the videos, shooting the videos to put the stuff together. Have a listen to the natural sound of while I was going around. Now, as you can hear, that's pretty quiet. Now, keep in mind that when we were here, I think it was at the end of the school holidays, so that could have a contributing factor on the lack of sound. But at the same time, the park was fairly full, and there were some kids around the place anyway, but they were fairly quiet. So the big question is, what do I think of the place? Would I want to come back? Well, I think that's pretty obvious. That's a definite yes. I think this is a good park. The fact that it's not a modern park and it's a little bit old, I think that's keeping the family type people away in the more entertaining kind of parks, and I think this is perfect for people like me. So anyway, that's it for this one. So if you want to show your support to the channel, don't forget to go down the bottom down there and hit the subscribe button and that bell next to it, and the thumbs up as well. And if you've stayed in this park and you've got some thoughts on it, go down the bottom down there and write down there your experience of the place. That'll be really good too if you could do that. But that's it for this. So in our next video we'll be back onto the Bush to Beach series, and in the next video we'll be going from Albany, and we'll be going over to Bremer Bay. Now I've never been to Bremer Bay before, so I don't exactly know what to expect when we get there. So anyway, till next time, happy travels.